How's it going, everyone? It is the Joker back again. I know it's been a hot minute since I last put something up because I've been really busy and I haven't really had much time. But now I've got time opening up again, so I'm going to start getting more content out and streaming more. Speaking of which, now I've moved over to start streaming on Kick now. So if you want to come check me out, then it's obviously NSE Joker over on Kick as well. So, as you can see, I've got Cyber Dragons with me. Obviously, Cyber Dragon Man up on my my locals. So today, it is a different type of Sidra. It is Sidra Spright. Now, shout outs to HakunaMyData for the list. I did edit it a little bit just to work around my play style and combos and that sort of stuff. So yeah, shout outs to him. And let's get started with the main. So starting things off with the Cyber Dragon stuff, we've got triple copies of Core, self-explanatory, the bare bones of the Cyber Dragon portion of the deck, searches out everything, easy, it's a level 2 as well, so if you open up the Spright with it as well, it's easy Spright combos. And if you open up this, you play Cyber Dragon, if you open up Spright, you play Spright. That's what the best thing I love about this deck is. You can play both very easily, either with each other or side by side. Or by itself, I should say. Next, we've got 2 copies of hers with 1 copy of Sidra. So hers is one of those cards I want to more send. I didn't have it at 3, but I didn't really like it at 3. Yes, it puts the names up, but then I want to be able to fit in more extenders and stuff like that. So I decided to put it down to 2 with the 1 Cyber Dragon. Obviously, you can search it as well. And then I've got the 1 of Nashta. It's an extender. You can bring Infinity or Nova back. You can bring any 2100 beta back from the graveyard as a machine, but it does lock you into it, so I don't tend to go into it as often. It's just that that's 1 Cyber Dragon that I can switch summon off the graveyard effect of Core. So I can go Core and Grave, banish itself, and then I can get out any Cyber Dragon name from my deck, bring out Nashta, bring out the Infinity, and carry on. And then rounding off the Cyber Dragon monsters, got 2 copies of Galaxy Soldier and 1 copy of Jizukuru. Jizukuru is board breaker, and then 2 Galaxy Soldiers is what you use to make the Infinity. Pretty self-explanatory. So to the Cyber spells and traps, I've got the 1 of Overflow. It's just a free pop. I don't always tend to draw into it unless I have the rest of the pieces in hand. So if I draw into this, I just set this as a bit of extra interruption. But if I can add it, I can add it. And then obviously it gets you a Cyber spell or trap if it's destroyed by card effect. So it has that extra bit of recursion as well. So then if it's destroyed, you can add your emergency, add your rev system, add anything else that you may be missing to help you carry on. Next, I've got triple copies of Cyber Emergency. The bare bones of the deck, just like Core, searches out your entire deck. This plus Core is easy game. Is an easy established board. Which is one thing I love. And then to round them off, we've got the 1 rev system and the 1 plant. This is one thing to put in because if you open Core and no other Cyber Dragon stuff, then you can just go normal summon Core, get your rev system, and then rev system bring back the Core, and then go into sprint, and then carry on with your Spright combo. Pretty self-explanatory. I like this in here because, as I said, extra extenders. If you just open Core, search this, carry on, and then you're not playing into draw as much. Draw hurts, but if you add the rev system, it doesn't hurt too much, if that makes sense. And then obviously the repair plan switches out all your machines, your Jizukuru, your Galaxy Soldier, your Sidras, all of that. And then moving on to the Spright engine part of the deck. Starting things off, we got triple copies of Nimble Angler, paired with double copies of Nimble, triple Beaver, double Angler. Sorry, I meant to say. So Angler is part of your Spright line. It's not a normal summon, but as I said, if you open Spright, you play Spright. If you open Sidra, you play Sidra. If you open both, you play both. It's self-explanatory. And Angler, I was half tempted to cut down to 1, sorry, because 9 times out of 10, I've always found myself signing out at least 1 copy of Angler. So As it goes up, that one card you don't always want to draw. You always want to send it off of the sprint. So I've been debating on putting this down to 1, and maybe putting like like another extender, or maybe even a duality as well to help if I'm going second. But yeah, put down to 1 if you want to. You can keep it at 2, but you want to be able to send this off of the sprint to be able to get 2 of these out and carry on with your Spright lines. And then to the sprites, we've got triple copies of Jet with triple copies of Blue, and then of course 1 carrot and 1 red. Pretty self-explanatory ratios here. I was debating on cutting some of these down to fit more like ward breakers and hand traps and a couple more copies of duality in, but 3 is where I find it best. If I cut it down, I cut it down. But if I was to cut it down, I'd probably put like triple copies of Ghost Bell in here. I may do that ready for the OTS I'm going to I should hopefully be going to next weekend. And yeah, Blue searches your Jet searches out your Spright spells. These 2 negates easy, pretty self-explanatory. Easy combo off with the normal summon core. And then of course, like I said, open Spright, play Spright, open Sidra, play Sidra. Easy as. That's one of the best things I love about this deck. If you open one and not the other, you can play one and not the other. If you open both, you can play both. It's very versatile. And then of course, finishing off the Spright spells, you've got 2 copies of Star. Because at 2, if I was at 3, I'd be playing 3 obviously, and then the 1 smashes. Interruption, you can search it off of Jet if you're going first, or you can need to search a second star tick off Jet to be able to bring out either the red or the carrot or whatever you're missing. And then finally, rounding off with the main engine part of the deck, we've got 1 copy of Penny and 1 copy of Catty. So these make your Herald, because during the combo you make the Melfy the Forest, so you go Melfy the Forest, get your Kitty, and then end phase, push summon Kitty, they normal summon something, let's go bounce, add, special summon, quick synchro, make the Herald. Plays around stuff like branded, even the Spright Mirror itself. plays around a lot. And again, if I'm going up against it, doesn't really that like banishes the graveyard itself. For example, like Cash or something like that, who relies on the graveyard. I'll just side these out, put like some extra hand traps in, extra board breakers, stuff like that. And then of course, for like the flex spots, if you're able to afford them. But first, you got 2 copies of Bard Prosperity. This is let you dig. You don't really want to be banishing too much from the extra deck, depending on what matchup you're playing. But it's there. It gets you up to 6 cards to dig, find you missing pieces, and so on. And then of course your hand traps. I'm playing triple copies of Veiler with triple copies of Ash. Veiler is an extra light monster, so if you don't open any lights with Galaxy Soldier and you open up 2 of these, then you can use these for discard. Ashes are very versatile, so like Branded Fusion, it's Jet, like starters, Blue, Jet, all of that. So very versatile. And then moving on to the extra deck, starting with Xyz, we got 1 Infinity, 1 Nova, and then 1 Zeus for the machines. The machine side of things, I don't really go into Zeus often because you get locked into 2s most of the time with Gigantic, but negate, extender. If you don't open, because before what my main extender is that I would go Nova, bring back the core, and then carry on again. It would be playing into Nib, so that's why I thought I put in the rev system. That's it. Had a brain fart for a second there. So then it can get you into your gigantic earlier, so you can't be nipped as easily, and then but then you can't make the infinity, but just extra bit of extender. And then to the rank 2s, we got 2 copies of Gigantic Spright, 1 Melfy of the Forest, and 1 Ninja Mosquito Shadow. Well, Ninja Shadow Mosquito, I should say. So Sprites, Gigantic Spright made part of the combo. Melfy of the Forest main part of the combo for going first or second, And then Ninja Shadow, you can OTK with this. I was able to OTK against Kashtira, I think it was last Sunday, when I was at a locals. So we ended on the XC version of Dark Arm Dragon, and I was able to make this with like Gigantic and some other ones I can extend with, and then I actually just went swing this, put the counter on it, and I just kept swinging and kept burning. Yes, I took damage, but at the same time I was burning more than I was taking. Both the Forest XA connection negate when a Melfi is bounced back to hand, so if you go the Catty effect, bounce itself, and then you can negate something with that, and then Penny as well as a quick effect, so you can just trigger it whenever. And then of course Gigantic Spright is part of your main Spright part of the engine. Spright part of the combo. So moving on to links. We've got one copy of Armorage, one Silver Dragon Seeger, and of course Spright Sprint, IP, and the Unicorn. So Armorage part is what you make with Core. Core make Armorage, Core find a way to bring itself back, and then carry on with the Spright stuff. Sprint is what you use to send Angler or any other level 2 maybe missing. I found myself sending Core off this just so that I have it live. I'll have a spare one live if I end up banishing one off of the overflow, so I can just go banish, bring out the National, bring out the whatever else I'm missing, and then IP is your special summon, is your link on your opponent's turn. You make Unicorn. I'm debating on adding an extra IP target, maybe like a Appaloosa or a Bomber or just something of the sort, just to go with that extra bit of versatility. And then to round it off, got one synchro, being the Herald. The Herald itself, explanatory, works really well against branded. If you chain the Penny to summon off of on the branded fusion, you just quick synchro, make this, and whatever they make, so the sender is getting banished instead. Easy done. And then finally, for the extra deck, we've got the one copy of Fleet and the one copy of Fortress. It's just for those niche machine mirrors, for example, Striker, Sidra itself, if you go up against them, or even maybe Earth machines. And then for the side deck, I've got triple copies of Talents. Very self-explanatory, it's really good this format. If they get any form of hand trap, draw 2, rip 1, steal 1, really self-explanatory, really good. And then for some back row hate, I've got one Duster, one Broad Breakers I should say, and then 2 Lightning Storm. I don't know why this got put to 2. It's either a Geki, a Lightning Vortex, a Geki Vortex, I should say, and then another Duster, so technically being like 3 Duster here. Broad Breaker is self-explanatory. And then, I'm playing triple copies of Droll. It's really good. It's still good this format, mainly because yes, Super Heavy Samurai may not be around, but Droll is still really good this format, and you can stop a lot of plays. I don't see myself taking Droll out. Yes, I know 2 different rarities. It's all I can find on hand. And then we're on some traps. We got triple copies of Anti-Spell. Really good for the striker matchup, especially with, I think it's Engage coming back to 2, I think it is, or something like that. It's just a really good counter 2 striker. They don't open a way to get rid of it. They just cry and just crumble under the Anti-Spell. And then for my last bit of World Breakers, I'm playing triple copies of, evenly matched. Sorry. It's self-explanatory. It gets rid of anything that I can't get rid of myself. So, for example, like Dragoon, if they're playing Dogmatica with duality and stuff like that, because it doesn't affect the board, it affects the monsters, it affects the player. So, yeah, it can get rid of a lot of stuff. So yeah, that's the list. If there's anything you'd recommend changing or stuff like that, go ahead and do so. Even let me know down in the comments below what you think may work, and yeah, if I end up changing the list or going to a different build of Soul Dragon, I'll be sure to put another one up. But I do have just quickly before I go, I do have another YouTube channel which I am using as a shoutcasting portfolio. So if you want to go check it out, give me some pointers on how to like improve and stuff like that, be more than welcome. I'm not expecting really much on it. Like I said, it's just a portfolio. So if you want to go check it out and stuff like that, I've got some stuff I'm ready to put up there yet, but I just haven't had a chance to put up there yet. But it's just Joker shellcasts, or shellcasting is what to do. I'll make sure I leave a link in the comments below. And then yeah, that's all. Hope you all have enjoyed the list, and I will see you all in what I do next. Joker has dealt his hand.